In this video, I want to discuss the concept of hedging with forward or futures contracts. Now, hedging with forward or futures contracts consists of taking a position that has a payoff that is the opposite of the risk profile that is being hedged. This allows the losses from the position in the commodity to be offset by gains in the forward or futures position. In order to understand that concept, let's take a quick look at risk profiles. And this is basically just a graph showing the relationship between changes in price versus changes in the value of the position. So here's the case of the risk profile for an oil seller. As the price of oil increases, the oil seller gets a higher price and the value increases, right? The value of that oil increases. As the price of oil goes down, moving to the left, the oil seller receives less money, right? And the value goes down. In the opposite position is the oil buyer. This is a person who's concerned about an increase in the price of oil. As oil prices go up, value goes down. This might be a gasoline refiner. So in this case, as the price of oil goes up, that input, oil used to produce gasoline, goes up, and it causes this company to lose money. And of course, if the price of oil goes down, that's a good thing. That's an input for what they're producing, gasoline, so they make money here. So in order to hedge using forward and futures contracts, we need to look at the payoff diagrams for these contracts. In this case, we're buying a forward or futures contract, which basically means that we're buying the commodity for a price today, but we're not going to take delivery until some later date. So what happens? If price goes up, we've already locked in our price, we actually make money, or the value of our position increases. If price goes down, well, we're stuck with this commodity that we paid, say, $10 for, and now it's only worth $9. We've lost money. There's also the opposite position, where you're selling the forward or the futures contract. In this case, you're selling at a price, and then you'll close out your position by buying back the contract, in the case of a futures contract. And when you buy it back, if you have to buy it back at a higher price, you'll lose money. If you can buy it back at a lower price, you'll have made money because you've already sold it at a fixed price. Again, say you sold it at 100. If it's now 90 and you can buy back the contract, the futures contract, for 90, you'll have made $10. So you notice that the payoff diagrams for the forward and futures contracts look similar to the risk profiles we previously discussed. So in order to hedge, we'll take a position that has a payoff that is the opposite of the risk profile. Right, so right here we have the position for someone who's an oil seller. We saw that risk profile. As the price of oil increases, value increases. As the price of oil decreases, value decreases. So you want a position that goes in the opposite direction, that makes money when price goes down, but you're willing to accept it losing money if price goes up, and that would be selling the futures contract. So if you put these two positions together, what you get is this flat, this horizontal red line, where if you lose $1 because price went down, you make $1. If you lose $1, because price went down, you make $1 over here in this position with your futures contract, and that offsets the loss. Of course, if the price goes up and you make money here, you lose money in this position. So you get this horizontal line, which essentially says there's no risk. If price goes up, there's no change in value. If price goes down, there's no change in value. You've essentially locked in your position. Now, in the real world, you're not going to be able to get this perfect hedge where there's absolutely no risk. But if you can reduce some of this risk by flattening out this line, that reduces some of the risk to the firm. And of course, we have the opposite position, the oil buyer. The oil buyer is concerned about the price of oil going up. If it goes up, they lose money. So they take a position where they buy the futures contract that will make them money if the price goes up. And again, as I've drawn it, all the risk is eliminated in this position. Now again, in the real world, you're not going to be able to eliminate all that risk. And in some cases, you may not want to eliminate all that risk, because when you do this perfect hedge, you also eliminate this upside potential. So you may just want to reduce some of the risk to a more tolerable level.